Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter number 27, Understanding Material Nature, and text number 17. If you all have access to the phone, you can just read after me. Devahutiruvacha Purusham Prakritir Brahman Nami Munchati Karhichit Anyonya Parashatvacha Nityadva Anayo Prabho. Word meaning Devahutir Vacha. Devahuti said, Purusham, the spirit soul, Prakritihi, material nature, Brahman, oh Brahmana, Na, not, Vimunchate, does release, Karhichit, at any time, Anyonya, to one another, Apashrayatva, from attraction, Cha, and Nityavat, from eternity, Anyoho, of them both, Prabho, oh my Lord. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Translation. Sri Devahuti inquired, my dear Brahmana, does material nature ever give release to the spirit soul? Since one is attracted to the other eternally, how is their separation possible? Purport. Devahuti, the mother of Kapila Dev, here makes her first inquiry. Although one can understand that spirit, soul and matter are different, their actual separation is not possible, either by philosophical speculation or by proper understanding. The spirit soul is the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord, and matter is the external potency of the Lord. The two eternal potencies have somehow or other been combined, and since it is so difficult to separate one from the other, how is it possible for the individual soul to become liberated? By practical experience, one can see that when the soul is separated from the body has no real existence. When the body is separated from the soul, one can perceive the existence of the soul. As long as the soul and the body are combined, we can understand that there is life. But when they are separated, there is no manifested existence of the body or the soul. This question asked by Devahuti of Kapila Dev is more or less impelled by the philosophy of voidism. The voidists say that consciousness is a product of combination. The voidists say that the consciousness is the product of combination of matter, and that as soon as the consciousness is gone, the material combination dissolves, and therefore there is ultimately nothing but voidness. The absence of consciousness is called nirvana, is Mayavad philosophy. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swaha Padantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Satya Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashati Deshatarini जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय मूल्य श्रीमते कदम कानन स्वामी नामिने. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we see that in this chapter number 27, the title itself speaks a lot, understanding material nature. In Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 topics being discussed in the whole Bhagavad Gita, and that is the foundation of the whole Vaishnava philosophy. One of the main topic is material nature, Prakriti. We have Jiva, we have like soul, and we have Paramatma, which is a super soul. We have Kala, and we have material nature, and we have the 3 modes of material nature, Prakriti. Okay, so in one of them is here understanding material nature. I mean, it is so difficult to understand. It is very very difficult to understand. As we know in the previous chapter, when Mother Devahuti, when she got pregnant by 9 daughters, and her husband was about to leave the house because that was his promise. That's what he said to the Swambhuva Manu, that as soon as I give children to your daughter, I will leave the home for self-realization. Even though he was fully self-realized anyway, but he was following the order of Brahmaji, because Brahmaji asked him, please kindly do the progeny. But before that, you get into the progeny, you have to do the austerity. You have to please the Lord. And Lord himself came and he blessed him, and he himself chose the right, perfect girl for Kardama Muni. And when he was about to leave the house, then his wife was complaining. He said, you promised me that you will make me abhayam. Abhayam means you will make me fearless. Okay, that means I need a son. Then he gave. And this son is none other than the Lord Kapila Dev, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. And now, because the husband left and she was regretting that I enjoyed life with my husband without recognizing his supreme position, how great Vaishnava he was. You know, I just demanded him many other things like a other ordinary woman does. I need a house, I need children, I need maid servants, I need so many other things. But I forgot to ask him that the questions, how can I get out of this material world? Now he's gone. Who's going to help me out? But before leaving, the husband says, don't worry, the Lord has incarnated in our house. He will help you. Now that's her first question. Because now if you see the photo here, if you see the photo of the Lord, she's sitting on the down, and Lord Kapila Dev is sitting on a Vyasasana. So her first question is that it is very very difficult when a jiva, when a soul comes and takes birth in this material world, because the jiva, when it comes to the material world, it is not either an internal potency or external potency. It is marginal potency. It means there is a line, this side is spiritual world, this side is material world. Like this side is external energy, this side is internal, and the jiva is standing in the middle. It's marginal. It's a combination, because that's why Prabhupada here writes, as soon as the soul enters into the matter, into the material body, that's how the life takes place. So she's saying that how come it's so difficult, because when you get into this material world, there's so many false designation stems on you. Do you know that? What are those stems? Such as? Who's going to say that? I'm someone's sons, yes. Okay. And my name is this and this. I'm someone's husband, someone's daughter. I'm an Indian, American. If you see, so many bodily stems are there. But you can see, while living practically in this material world, when we are in this body, we can say this bodily designation gets changed. Today, maybe someone is a peon. After some time, due to his hard work, he can be a clerk, he can be a manager, he can be a state manager, he can be president or prime minister. So it changes as per the temporary nature. His position changes, and name also gets changed. Like when you are in your childhood, if you see, like if you are going to examine your 10th standard, which is a metric exam, before your metric exams, the college or schools, they ask you, this is the right time. If you want, you can change your name, because once your name is get onto the degree, then you cannot change, because throughout your whole life you have to live with this name. So people do get changed, because I know in my schoolmates, some of my friends, they change their name. Okay, houses, our location, it gets changes. We were in India, in some other state, some other town, some other state. Now we moved to America, some other state, some other time. Job changes, even the partner changes. Even the body we are in, the body also gets changes. We never, used to have white hair, gray hair. But now as you grow with your age, you can see the changes in your body. Skin get wrinkles, black hair turns into white hair, gray hair. People call it, we call it black and salt paper look. Black and white and black beard. So many other false designations are there. Now I was Indian just due to one paper because I turned into green card, and now I start calling myself as American. So you can see there's so many false illusions are already we are living. Even though we have been practicing, even the practitioner, the spiritual practitioner itself, they are struggling to come out of this material designation. This designation makes them so puffed up, it hides their real identity, which is the Jivere Sarup Hove Krishnere Nityadas. I am the eternal servant of Lord Shri Krishna all the time, not only this lifetime, all the lifetime. Whenever I take birth in any of the form, I'm always there. But except serving him, I am serving my senses and the senses of my relatives or the senses of my country. Okay, so this is a very important question that Mother Devahuti, even though in the previous prayer, if you see, she is condemning herself because she's saying, I am in a lower birth. I am in a lower birth. I am a woman. I don't have much intelligence. Okay, but if you see that amount of or the quality of questions she is asking, she doesn't seem that she is in a bodily consciousness of life. She is above the bodily consciousness of life because this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Because when you come in front of any guru, or if you come in front of any advanced Vaishnava, we should not open our mouth. It says when you go to meet your spiritual master or any other Vaishnava, this organ has to zip up and this organ has to zip on. It has to be open, it has to be closed. But if you see in our day-to-day dealing, this is always open and this is never be open. This is always closed because we always speaking. We never hear. That's why all the problem comes up. Because if you don't have sufficient hearing, then our perception to see the world, it will remain in ignorant. That's where the first process of Bhakti Yoga is proper hearing. The good amount of hearing is required. A good amount of hearing means it's not that 15, 18, 20, 24 hours you are constantly listening. Listening means when you sit in the class and whatever instruction you hear, you immediately apply in your life without delay. That's what it's called strong hearing. Otherwise, people are sitting in the class, they hear, when you go outside, Prabhu, what did you hear? Oh, it was a nice class. But what are you going to do? Be practical, Prabhu. I can't do anything. I have to live like that. No, that means you didn't sit in the class. Sitting in the class means you heard, you're going to apply, you're going to change your life. Spiritual knowledge means it's not just gathering information, it's changing the transfer, it's transforming your heart, transforming your lifestyle, transforming your consciousness. Otherwise, we just keep hearing, but there is no application in the life. That means we never heard or we never sat in the class. So that's where here Mother Devahuti, her first question is, did the jiva ever will get liberation? Is there any chance? Because the thickness, the layer is so thick, no matter how much we take them off, again it comes up next day. See, when a child is born, okay, he's a fresh computer, a brand new computer. You can see his mind or his consciousness is a brand new empty computer. There is no data download in there. So as soon as he takes birth, okay, the parents start calling, I'm your father, she's your mother, you are our child, you belongs to this and this gotra, this is your surname. Okay, now you are born in America, so you start calling yourself American. But even though you can start you start calling yourself as Indian American because your ancestors comes from India or Ukraine, Canada, whatever. There's so many layers are getting on himself. He doesn't even know what's my real identity. From the beginning, the education is completely wrong. If you see in the previous life, in the previous ages, when there was a system of Gurukul and a Vedic study, when people used to go to schools and colleges in a Vedic way of style, they go and they get educated, become more strong in Vedic scriptures. But now, children goes to the school, they become atheist. Used to be go to school where people learn how to respect the authority, okay, how to see the parents, how to see the teachers, how to see the other authority as a state wise, okay, how to deal with your schoolmates, okay, many other things, many other etiquettes we learn. But now if you see, the people go to schools and colleges, they become dumb, they become dull headed. As soon as they come out, they take the gun and shoot the teacher. I mean, where is the hope? No matter if the teacher is giving you a material knowledge, she is equally respectful because she's teaching you how to live in this material world. Even though it is not spiritual, but she's still teaching you something valuable. So you can earn your livelihood. You will not just, rotten on a street like a dog or a hog, ask for, begging food. No, she teaches you, even though because we are living in this material world. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.2, Jnanam te aham vijnanam bhaksharmi isheshataha. Means, oh my dear Arjun, you need to know the material knowledge, you need to know the spiritual knowledge. After getting these two knowledge, there will be nothing left for you to know. And a person, because we think, no, material knowledge is nothing, I need to know only spiritual knowledge, leave everything. No, because we are in the body needs some kind of basic needs. Okay, clothing, shelter, food. If anything breaks down, we are sick, we need to go to the doctor. So everything requires money. Okay, because nothing is free. If money required, then you require a good quality of job, and good quality of job means then you need to go to the schools and colleges and pass the exams and apply. And with your material status, you help yourself spiritually. Because if your mind is stable, Prabhupada says in his lecture, if you have a basic needs fulfilled, okay, if your stomach is good, you have a good clothing, good shelter, okay, everything is good. If your mind is peaceful, then you can look forward for spiritual life. But if it's already disturbed, you don't have anything to eat, there is no job, loans problems are there, finance problem is there. Person cannot chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Person cannot come to the temple and listen to the Bhagavatam class because the mind is so disturbed. Mind is material, no doubt, but to make the mind fixed or a calm, we need to have an atmosphere. We have to live in an atmosphere where we can practice bhakti yoga. Okay, so material knowledge and spiritual knowledge, we both require hand to hand. Ultimately, spiritual knowledge will take over the material knowledge until we become mature. If we don't become mature, that's why the Bhagavatam is there to tell, please follow the Varnashram system. Whichever ashram you are, perform the duties perfectly. Brahmachari, do it. Householder, do it. Vanaprastha, do it. Sannyas, do it. Until you become above all this ashram, then you can do whatever you want. Means following the Vedic scriptures. Means that becomes Raganuga practice. But for that, see, I think I'm pretty much sure all of us are here. Some are practicing for 40 years, some are practicing for 35, 30, 20, 25, 5, 10 years. We can see, even though spending so many years, okay, in the movement, still the thickness of identifying ourselves is so heavy, it doesn't go very easily. So that's why she's saying, how is there possible that a jiva can be liberated from this bodily identification? Is it ever? Doesn't look like. It requires a good amount of practice. Because we are used to live our life, not only this lifetime, since we came into this material world, which has countless number of lifetime, you cannot count. So the thickness of every birth is going thicker and thicker and thicker. When we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are taking them off, but with our wrong association, we again builds up more. One time we are taking them off, other we are building up more, taking them off, building them more. Even in the spiritual practice also. Okay, I'm the GBC, I'm the president, I am this and that. Until unless we are not matured, we don't know how to handle the services. We don't know how to handle the position, the status, even spiritually also. And sometimes it becomes so intoxic, we start acting as a materialistic person, even though we are practicing spiritually also. So the Maya, it's very powerful. You know, some people have a wrong understanding. They say, oh Prabhuji, Maya took all my things away, my job away, my family away, my wealth away, my husband away, my wife away. Okay, no. Okay, this is one point that Maya takes away, but Maya also gives you also. That is also a test of Maya. She also gives you name, fame, wealth, popularity, many other things, even in your spiritual practice. So both are a test. One, the things goes away, and one, the things comes in a large amount that we cannot handle, we cannot expect. So both are test of Maya. It's not that because Krishna has recognized my spiritual practice, he put me on a very higher post. So that means I am advanced. No, it's not that. It's not that. It is also a test of Maya. Even though after getting a higher position, how you treat others, how you practice your spiritual life, that also matters. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 5, it's specially mentioned when they are heavenly planets and they are hellish planet. When there are too much facilities to enjoy the material world, then a person doesn't take the path of bhakti. When it's too much distress in hellish planet, person does not take the path of bhakti. That's why earthly planet is a perfect position where sukh and dukha both be experienced like a summer and winter. So we can relate, we can practically relate. Okay, now I'm this material world. 1 month, 1 year, or for some year, I become a king, and after 2, 5, 6, 10 years, I become a pauper. So we can both experience in this material world. Okay, by taking this example, we can learn. You can see Mother Devoti, what she has and not. She had everything. I mean, we are puffed up of making a one house on this earthly planet somewhere in the street in the corner. Okay, we think we are the president of America. Okay, but you can see her house, not just a house, not just a state, her whole mansion area was floating in the air. We take our family member from New Jersey to Miami. We think we are enjoying a perfect holiday. Here, Kardama Muli is taking from one planet to another planet. Can you imagine that? I mean, going from one place itself is so much expense. Look at the power of Kardama Muni. He's every one morning here, another planet, afternoon another planet, evening another planet. In this way, he spent his honeymoon in different locations of not just location, but different planets. And how many maid servant can we afford here? They had unlimited. And before having everything, he was aloof. He knew very well he has material duties to perform. He has spiritual duties to perform. That's why he's strong. That way, it is recommended when the kids are very, very early, whether it's a boy or a girl, they must be trained into Vedic knowledge. Because when they grown up, when they go into the householder life, they go with the exit. They know how to come out of it. It is not that when they jump in there, then they think, what should I do in this ashram? No, it's not that, because they know how to exit, or how to not exit alone, how to take everybody together, go back to Godhead. That's where Kardama Muni, because she was so beautiful. If you see the bodily beauty of Mother Devhuti, when she was playing with the ball on her roof palace, Gandharvas was falling down from their airplane. I mean, if someone's wife is so beautiful, person hesitate to leave the house or go to work. Here, immediately left, no attachment. He performed his material duty without any attachment. That's where the all important lessons are there for us to learn. But she's saying, I was attached because I was in the womanly body. I was attached to my husband. I was crying when he left, and I'm crying for you because after giving the instruction, you also gonna leave me. So how I'm gonna live my life? So that's where Kapila Dev, he's giving all the important information to Mother Devhuti. And here Prabhupada is mentioning, they are saying the Voidist says that the consciousness is a product of combination of a matter. No, consciousness is the function of soul, because if the soul is there inside the body, then you can see the body parts are moving. That's where the consciousness is there. Okay, sometimes we can say when someone's half body or a hand or a leg can paralyzed, then the person does not even feel, but that's his external organs has failed to do the job, but he's still in the body. The body is completely been dead when the soul comes out of the body. That means it's dysfunctional. That means there is no consciousness. When we go in the night to sleep, we can see how we call it half sleep, or we call it half dead. Okay, only our this part is active, our hearings is active. If you see, if you ever going to sleep, if any knocks happen or any sound happens, you immediately comes out of your sleep. Why? Because the externally everything goes to sleep in our body, but only one part remains always active, which is connected to the soul, which is your hearing process. Otherwise, if the thief comes and everybody comes, how do you know who has gone? That's why hearing process has to be very, very strong here. You know, Mother Devhuti, I mean, that's her first inquiry. She's trying to understand. She's not jumping into the subject matter, which is a 10th canto, so-called Sahajas do. No, Parikshit Maharaj, he asked every single question which relates to the matter and which relates to the spirit, because they both are interrelated to each other. We need to solve this problem, okay, because only just by theoretical knowledge it will not happen. The subject matter has to be realized. Realized means ki whatever we are seeing, we are practicing, or we are seeing practically in our life. That's why Shabda Brahma, this Vedic scripture is called Shabda Brahma, because Shabda Brahma helps you to see the Param Brahma, which is Lord Shri Krishna. Shabda Brahma means whatever you read in the scripture, you apply in your life. When that application becomes a direct perception, okay, like Prabhupada says, when you chant Hare Krishna, when you follow the four regulative principle, after some time you can see all your material desire, not all, slowly, gradually, your material desires are getting down. So that means we trusted on the words of Shabda Brahma. Okay, we practice. By practicing, we are directly perceiving. So when we directly see the Parabrahma, or on the way how to see the Parabrahma, that part when we see, then we become more trust, then we have more trust on the Shabda Brahma. Shabda Brahma, Parambrahma, Shabda Brahma, Parabrahma. That's how his interpret goes. That's why this Vedic hearing, Shruti, is so important. Shruti and Smriti is very, very important. Direct perception is not a ultimate. No, it gives you a little bit of trust, but not a perfect evidence. The perfect evidence is Shabda Brahma. Yes? And that Brahma, that Shabda is not a Shabda of any ordinary person. The Shabda has come out of the mouth of Lord Shri Krishna. Vedo Narayana Shastra. Vedic scripture is exactly like Lord Narayana, because they have come out of the mouth of Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Narayana. So it should not be, there is no question of not to trust these words. All we have to do, we have to learn, we have to read, we have to hear and apply. One time in Srila Prabhupada, either he was in Hyderabad or Ahmedabad, he gave a lecture, very beautiful lecture as usual, and then he asked for questions. When he's been asked a question, then one person, he was very arrogant. He stood up. He says, Swamiji, I can't trust your teaching blindly, or I cannot accept your teaching blindly. So Prabhupada says, oh, very intelligent question. He says, very good. Don't accept my teaching blindly, and don't reject my teaching blindly also. Okay, I'm pretty much sure that whatever I'm saying, you don't have a trust. So that's why these Vedic scriptures are there. Why don't you read and then make the decision? Don't make the decision before reading it. Make sense or not? Without applying, without reading, having a practical experience, how can I reject the teaching? That's why mostly people do. This is not right, this is not right, this is not right. Prabhupada says, have you read or not? Mostly people, if you see in the audience, when they sit, they say, Prabhuji, no, this is not good. I just ask her, okay, so what is your, counteraction? I don't know, but if you don't know, then how can you say no to me? Either you have some Vedic scripture, some authority to say on, okay, Prabhuji, whatever you are saying, there is another Vedic scripture, it says like this, so this is like that. But you don't know anything, but the speaker is saying, then you say no. So what do we call this person? Pagal, mental person, not accepting. But if YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter says, then they accept immediately because that is their authority. These are nonsense. That's why Vedic scripture, that's why books are there, Vedas are there. See, the first living entity, Brahmaji, how many hands he has? So, four hands. Good. So, what are in those four hands? What does he carry? He carries Vedas, Vedic scripture. If Brahmaji, being the first living entity and is the secondary creator, if he reads Veda, then why not we? And how many times has he read? Does anybody know? In Canto 2 and 3, you will find out. Lord Brahma says, when I was born, when I took birth, then I found myself in ignorance. I don't know what to do. I was going here, I was going there, I was going there, everywhere. But when I got the Vedic scripture, I read 3 times. So at least we should read 3 times everything. Shrimad Bhagavatam 3 times, Bhagavad Gita in our life. Whatever Srila Prabhupada books are there, make sure we read minimum 3 times. He says, after reading 3 times, very carefully, scrutinizingly, Vedic scripture, I came to the conclusion, Ishvara Parma Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He didn't just make a shloka like this. Because see, any sages, any pure Vaishnava in the line, they don't just throw the statement in the market just like that because something came into their mouth. No. They realize the subject matter thoroughly, scrutinizingly under the expert guidance of the senior Vaishnava. And after having a good amount of self-realization, they throw the statement in the market. And then statement becomes the Shabda Brahma. Make sense or not? See, just see yourself when you just started coming to Hare Krishna movement. Okay, your consciousness was completely blurred or completely ignorant. Okay, when you first time read Bhagavad Gita, you just flip the pages like a newspaper, like a magazines. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Prabhu, what did you read? Whole 18 chapter finished, 700 shloka finished. What did you read? You gave 2-3 main points, which is very good. First time person reading Bhagavad Gita, giving 2-3 important points, very good. So when you next year when you read, because 365 days you chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So every time you chant Hare Krishna mantra, even the one time, you have polished your consciousness. You have taken the dirt, okay, out of your consciousness of your mind. And when 365 days times 1728 Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when you read again, because so much of chanting Hare Krishna has been chanted throughout the whole year, so much service has been done to the Vaishnava, to the temple, your consciousness has so much polished. And with that same consciousness, when you read Bhagavad Gita, then you tell 15 more points of Bhagavad Gita. What did you understand? And next year, you again chant for many days. Then you read. So every time when you read Bhagavad Gita, every time you find it's new to me because I haven't read this book. Because the Vedic scripture is a person. Okay, he only opens you until it sees your surrender to the Supreme Lord. How sincere you are, how determined you are, or how strong you are go back, or you want to go back to God. So that right attitude has to be there. Everything is a science. It's not a sentiment. If you're not chanting, if you're not doing any service, if you're not doing following the four active principles, so where is the question that this Srimad Bhagavatam will reveal to you? No, it restrains the excess. That's why it says Nirmat Saranam. Okay, this Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedic scripture, is for non-envious people. The person is already envious and his consciousness is properly material. Okay, because there's so many stories comes which you cannot, or the speaker cannot be explained through argument and logic. It has to be understood with the right attitude.